And then there was one window to place, also known as the door. Oh my gosh. We have got a lot of Tetris pieces in. So you can see the two windows are in. The north side, we have a bottom window, 2 windows with a transom for airflow. So it's going to take air through. This is our little side piece. Remember, that's where we're going to put the gutter along this edge, and it's going to run in there. On the east side, we are over here seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows on this side. And we even got that top beam. I know it's a little slanted, but that's okay. The 2x6 rafters are going to be taller. And on the south side, yes, the south side, we have, east side, forgot, transom window up there. South side, we did a triple stack on this side. We got a big window, and then we have our last transom. So the third transom we put in. So all of that is done. The big mama is going to be the door. 1, it's heavy. It's a glass door. 2, is everything square when you're using all these reclaimed materials? Hell no, it ain't square. So what are we going to have to do? We are going to have to make believe, because that's the best part of this stuff, is just making it up as you go along. So this is dry fitting. I have the post here, and right next to it is a 2x6. We have the post here and a 2x6. And then this is our frame that we are making for the door. So we've already datoed out an edge here that runs the whole length. So we have the whole length datoed down. Now again, we're not putting the frame onto the ground. Why? Well, it would stick if I had to take this frame and put it onto this. It's not wide enough to fit the door. This is barely able to fit that door. It's 30-inch wide, and I have a 29.5-inch door. So yeah, we have to have the frame up there. So in doing that, we're framing it up tall. We're going to, the bottom, the door's going to hang right on this side. It's going to swing out. So it's going to swing out this way. I'm going to have to put a mason bolt in and hold that. And we have these 4x4 scraps. We're going to hold the door off the ground. I want it off the ground so I can put gravel underneath, because water will kind of come down into this area and slowly go in here. I don't want water hitting right up against the door. I want it to go filter through that gravel and then go up into that area. There's not a lot of water that can come in this area, but I want to minimize any damage to this door. So that is the process. We've kind of measured here a couple pieces. We have roof or door top, and I'm going to cut a little higher. I'm going to cut higher up. I can play with this and bring it down later, and then we can get these scraps are going to form the top piece. So I don't have to dado it, and I'm going to put a 2x6 on top. So the first step is going to be taking off our clamps and actually putting a true 2x6 screw to each post, so then we can create the door frame. Let's get going on the door. Oh my gosh, last big window. Ready for the old door frame. So what we got here, we have our door. We have laid it on the ground. I've raised it up a little bit. We have laid out our pieces. So to make our frame, using three 2x6s, you can see here I've kind of datoed that groove for the door to fit. And we're lining it up like it would be. So it's going to sit like that. I've datoed this section here. At the top, remember I said I was going to cut off those 2 pieces, and I'm going to screw them onto that board, and then we're going to cut it to fit. The other thing I had to do at the top was we had to use the jigsaw and cut those pieces. And the reason is we want this to fit flush. So if we're going to get this to fit, we'll have a nice fit like that when I screw it together. So we did that on both sides, you can see there. The next part, so I'm going to go ahead and assemble this top piece. I'm then going to measure my two pieces compared to where I'm going to stick it off the bottom. And then we're going to see what our height needs to be so those can be trimmed to get our door to the height. Then we'll go ahead and screw that frame together. Top piece is screwed together, you can see there, and then I trimmed it to the approximate height we're looking at. I have propped the door up so that I can sneak the frame inside, and I'm trying to give an approximate. You know, this side's going to be tight, but I was checking it out. It looks like there's a little bowing in the wood, but that's okay. That's what the shims are for. We'll make it work. So I have it pretty tight on this side, with this side just kind of flush. So because the other side's flush, I think that I'm going to be okay. That'll be 1/4 inch on each side I can give. So got that done. We'll make the top kind of flush, and we're going to use our big clamps to hold that in place. But before I did that, the last thing I wanted to do was I made a little mark here, 15 inches. So 15 inches is the height that I want that off the ground. Basically the height of this portion. So that of the cinder block. So the cinder block top would come here. Means this piece of wood needs to be trimmed just a little bit so it'll sit right on top there. So we're going to go ahead and make those cuts, and then I think it's ready to screw the frame of the door together. Door frame is all shimmed in. Now let's try to hang that door. One of my biggest worries for this was to get the door to swing and actually go into place. But it works! The door is on a hinge. I'm so excited. So excited. Now we only did 2 of the hinges because I didn't want to screw down the mason bolt yet. So we did our screws here. We got our screws here. We only did 2 at a time, and then we added the 4. A couple things we did have to add was when I was putting in these here, because I didn't have the shims in place, the door actually started bowing back. So we unscrewed, put some shims in to hold it. So definitely where you're attaching, make sure you add shims in both sides. So we did that. It is swinging nice and freely in the breeze. So beautiful. And then we wanted a little hinge, right? We want this guy to fit in place. So on the inside, we drilled, I measured it, and just drilled a little hole. Now maybe I'll make this fancier later, but let's see if that works. I hope it does. Please work. Lock my son inside. Oh, no Opie, no Opie. I'm happy, happy, happy boy.